Hello, everyone. My name is Clinton Wood, and I am a doctoral candidate at Concordia University St. Paul. Today, I will be presenting my dissertation proposal entitled The Effects of Strength Training on Performance in Adolescent Track and Field Athletes in Throwing Events. As an introduction to my research, the guiding research question is: what are the strengths of a 12-week structured strength training program on throwing performance, explosive power, and strength in adolescent track and field athletes compared to a traditional training program alone? Now, adolescent throwers face unique physiological and biomechanical demands compared to their counterparts in track and field. Their growth and maturation influence how they adapt to training, as seen by studies from Bunin and Melania in 2008 and Arrowhouse and Cumming in 2023. While strength training is widely accepted as both safe and beneficial, as found by studies from Flagenbaum et al. In 2009 and Lloyd et al. In 2016, there is still very little research focused specifically on throwing events in track and field. The purpose of this study is to evaluate whether a structured strength training program enhances performance outcomes and reduces injury risk. We hypothesize that adolescent throwers in the intervention group will demonstrate significantly greater improvements in throwing distance, one repetition maximum strength, and vertical jump when compared to the control group. Moving on to the literature review, let's situate this study in the context of existing research. Firstly, we know that growth and maturation strongly influence training adaptation. The timing of peak height and velocity is critical. Athletes will respond differently depending on their stage of biological development, as found by Rumpf et al. In 2023, De Wert et al. In 2023, as well has stated this fact. This means that their training prescriptions must account for where athletes are in their current growth process. Secondly, resistance training improves muscular strength, coordination, and resilience in youth athletes. Meta-analyses confirm consistent improvements across strength, power, and speed outcomes in adolescents. Barwinger et al. In 2011 has found this, and Bem et al. In 2017 found this as well. Strength training also reduces injury risk, a key concern in high school athletics where injury rates remain significant. Kerr et al. In 2014 found this, and Meyer et al. In 2014 has also found this. For throwers, strength is necessary, but not the only sufficient factor that is necessary for good performance. Throwing performance also depends on force generation, biomechanics, and sequencing within the kinetic chain. Eskimula et al. In 2010 found this, and LeBlanc et al. In 2020 found this. Power output underpinned by neuromuscular drive is particularly important when coming into throwing events, as found by Agard et al. In 2002 and Cormy et al. In 2011. Finally, there are gaps in the literature. Reviews highlight uncertainty around optimal programming parameters for young athletes, such as training frequency, exercise selection, and periodization strategies, as found by Beatty et al. In 2017, Kiner, Schemp, and Worth in 2022 also found this, as well as Weldon and Muffoli in 2022. Additionally, few studies have looked at how strength gains directly transfer to throwing performance, and my study seeks to address this gap. Moving on to the methodology. This study includes 20 adolescent throwers, ages from 13 to 18, randomized into two groups: an intervention group of 10 athletes who completed a structured program, strength training, for 12 weeks, and a control group of 10 athletes who will continue with traditional throwing training only. We use several instruments to measure outcomes, such as throwing distances for shot put, discus, and weight throw, vertical jump for explosive lower body power, as coined by Sayers in 2000, 1 rep max squat in bench press for maximal strength, hand grip dynamometry for upper body strength, and then readiness and exertion scales to track effort and recovery. The intervention lasted 12 weeks with 3 60-minute training sessions per week. The program followed a linear periodization model, progressing from foundational strength training to hypertrophy to power, consistent with best practices in youth training as outlined by Zatorsky and Kramer in 2006 and Hoff and Nymphius in 2012. Sessions were supervised by NSCA certified coaches. To ensure both safety and proper execution, testing will occur at baseline, midpoint, and post-intervention, and data will be analyzed using a 2x3 mixed ANOVA method to examine group and time effects. We will also compute effect sizes, post hoc tests, and correlations between strength and performance outcomes. Ethical considerations include the IRB approval, informed consent and assent of not only the participants but also their guardians or parents, confidentiality practices, and safety oversight throughout the program. In conclusion, the study will explore how structured strength training impacts adolescent throwers, a group that has largely been overlooked in literature. Prior research shows youth can safely and effectively gain strength and power through resistance training, as shown by studies through Granicher et al. In 2016 and Lloyd and Oliver in 2012. However, very little work has examined sport-specific outcomes in throwing events. By directly testing throwing distance, explosive power, and maximal strength, this study provides evidence that bridges general youth training research with the specific demands of track and field events such as throwing. The practical implications are significant. Findings may guide coaches in designing evidence-based programs for adolescent throwers, support safer and more effective training progressions, and contribute to long-term athletic development models, as seen by Bishop et al. In 2021 and Gould and Carson in 2008. Ultimately, the goal is to equip these young athletes with the strength, power, and resilience they need to succeed both in throwing and in their broader athletic careers. Thank you for your time.